If you could, tell us first, what is the Google Gadget Ad platform?
Yeah, so Google Gadget Ads are a very interesting use of Google Gadgets. Google Gadgets is a very simple API, very simple way that anybody in the world can go create interactive rectangles. They were originally for the Google homepage and have since spread all over the place. There's half a dozen different sites around Google and different properties that support these, including Google Desktop, Google Toolbar, and so on and so forth. Even Calendar, Maps, a whole bunch of them. And more recently, High Five, MySpace, and a number of other third-party properties are adopting Google Gadgets in the form of Open Social. One of the uses of it was a syndication of it into the ad system, and so that's what I work on. And what's very interesting about it is you sort of programmatically create ads, and so your ads, instead of sort of by default being little text ads or images, and then maybe you add a little bit of interactivity, by default they're actually fully interactive applications, and then you can decide what the appropriate way to go create, fill this rectangle on some of the many thousands and thousands of sites that support ads by Google.
Now, and you said on a panel at the Digital Hollywood Conference here that you think web ads are beautiful. There was some disagreement about that, whether we've gotten there, whether the creative is that good yet. And you also talked a little about the example of this place, I think Teen Vampire Freaks or whatever, about how the algorithm sometimes can find things and help advertisers that otherwise wouldn't be possible. So talk about those two things. First of all, beautiful ads and whether they really can be beautiful content.
Well, I think ads can be beautiful, and the example I gave of these glasses, which were purchased from a text ad actually on Google Web Search, is a really good example of something where it's beautiful. It's beautiful not necessarily visually. It's beautiful in its elegance. It's elegant in as much as I want to find a pair of glasses. The natural thing to do online is, and I just like to buy everything online. Why not? Let's try there first. And so I typed in prescription eyeglasses into Google, and I started clicking on links. I can't remember if I clicked on an ad or not an ad, and that's actually what's really beautiful. The content of the ads was so useful to me, at least at that moment, at least those particular ads, that in fact I don't even remember if it was an ad that I used to go find these glasses or something else. And the same thing is beginning to happen in the content network, where content ads on third-party sites, not just the Google search engine, but non-search ads, are beginning to have this kind of relevance. They're sort of, I don't know, somebody needs to make up a word, hyper-relevance or something that's so relevant that in fact, the content of the page is enhanced by the ad and vice versa, and they work together to create a really great user experience. And so we have examples where, and of course lots of anti-examples with punching monkeys and so on, but I mean, we have really good examples that are beginning to happen where you're shopping around for bicycles or you're learning about bicycles, and the ad is for that exact make and model of bicycle with a great photo and a great information about it, more details and so on and so forth. It actually is that specialized. And as I said on the panel, the hard part is actually scaling up the advertiser experience so you don't have to create 30,000 creatives in order to do that. That's very hard.
Now, to be able to do that, obviously you need a lot of data, a lot of information. That raises privacy concerns. Someone in the session talked about NebuAd and how some ISPs wanted to collect data and whether that was going too far. Someone from Glam Media said, as long as it's not personally identifiable. What's Google's sort of take right now on what is okay to collect and what's not?
So, first of all, it's very difficult to speak on behalf of all of Google, of course, and different products in different circumstances, even different countries have different standards, which I think speaks to really trying to take a very, very careful approach to it because privacy is so important. And I in fact sit on a little committee of people that actually have to review some of these next generation uses of ads, and it's really important to be very paranoid. There's lots of cases where, in the end, society decided that the ads were okay. But at the initial moment, they were so surprised by them that there was a lot of negative reaction to it. And there's a lot of gray areas. Obviously I can't comment on a particular example, and I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
But I can tell you that the safest thing to do as the advertiser, as the ad network, as the site publisher, is to err on the side of caution and really think through, not just do I think it's okay, but is somebody else going to think it's okay, and be really, really careful about these sorts of things. I mean, an example of something that you're starting to see are geographically targeted ads. Right? And in the geo-targeting world, it's easy to turn around and sort of, come up with cases that are just downright creepy. And it's also very easy to come up with cases that are obviously okay. Geo-targeting to the country level? Mm-hmm. Well, come on, that's almost certainly okay in almost all cases. Right? Because in practice, that's what people do. They say, I only want to run this in the U.S., sometimes as a proxy for language. Right? I only want to show it to English-speaking users because the ad content is in English. Right? But other times, the actual offer is a local offer. The offer is for a tour of a factory or something, or it's for a particular museum, and you have to go to that location. So it doesn't make sense to advertise that in too broad a range, because the effectiveness is going to go down a lot as you go nationwide with that ad campaign. So there's definitely some gray areas in there about what's okay and what's not. And erring on the side of caution is really smart. In the case of geo ads, erring on the side of not being ridiculously specific and saying, you're sitting at desk 42 in the, in 1600, Amphitheater Parkway. Don't do that, even if you have an opportunity to. And I think that's the smart thing. That's certainly, consistent with Google's perspective on it.
And then last thing about the Gadget Ads, this platforming. How long have you guys been doing this? Is this boosting? I mean, what kind of CPMs you're seeing?
Yeah.
How many advertisers you got in the program, or is it integrated right across the Google
Yeah, so
Ads?
Google Gadget Ads is started out as a feature of the Google Content Network. And really, Gadget Ads is just an example of the kind of technology that allows you to do these programmatic ads. You can do the same thing with a lot of the double-click rich media products now support all of this. And so it's just one of many, many different ways to deliver highly interactive ads. It's the one that I know the best because I've done a number of these. And there's subtle differences between these platforms. For example, DoubleClick Rich Media supports something that Gadget Ads doesn't. That's very, very exciting. They do HD video inside of an ad, which if you're launching a movie is killer. Like, you can actually have the real preview, not like a little small version, the whole preview actually there. And if you combine it with their expandable feature, which is really awesome, now you can actually watch the whole preview for the movie right there in the ad page, and you don't have to bug the user. If they want to watch it, they click, it expands, you get to watch the whole movie. And if not, it stays in its nice normal rectangle. That is a great experience, but one that is not available yet in Gadget Ads. And there's other ones that, at least at this particular moment, aren't available the other way around. And the easiest thing to do, and what the sales team does as well, is take a consultative approach. Look at all these different technologies and see which ones are going to serve the purpose that you're looking for. And if you're an agency, just stay generally up on what kinds of technologies are available and what kinds of features. And large companies like Google can actually help you navigate these complicated technology landscapes to find the right ad solutions.
Okay. And CPMs? Could you talk about that?
Well, the CPMs, actually, there's no serving fees or anything with Gadget Ads. So it's actually whatever you get with GCN, meaning the Content Network.
Right.
And, of course, they vary from site to site and placement to placement and so on and so forth. And, in fact, many of our advertisers choose to bid CPC, meaning paying for clicks, inside the Content Network. And what that means is, CPMs, it's really an effective CPM because it depends on how engaging your ad is and how relevant your ad is. You'll get higher click rates, and therefore your effective CPM will go down. In fact, we had one thing where all of a sudden our traffic was going down. We were like, what's going on? This can't be the case. We're more successful. And what we discovered was some of our very largest advertisers had figured out very, very clever ways of making their ads even better. And I mean better. I'm not talking about punching the monkey and tricking users. I mean more relevant. They actually found ways of making it more relevant, and they just updated their ads and didn't tell us. And next thing you knew, it was actually requiring fewer impressions to drive the same number of clicks and the same number of engagements. And everybody wins, right? And yes, the effective CPMs went up, but you're getting, again, if you're bidding on clicks, you want the clicks or impressions. So.
Okay, Adam Sah, Google. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, hey, thanks.